Hello, everybody. Mike Griffith here on Take Your Best Shot podcast, and I'm here with Pierre Douglas, also known as Cool P. Pierre is a man of many things. He is a comedian, a ramp worker, a real estate agent, and a father of four children. Welcome, Pierre.
Mike, what's going on? How you doing?
Good,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
Definitely.
I gotta ask you, how did you get into comedy?
Stand-up comedy came from being the funny guy on social media. I was heavy on Twitter, and they had this thing called trending topics, and you would just post funny posts like just constantly, and people were like, "Man, you know what? You're funny. You should try comedy." And it's about a group of five of us. And back in 2012, someone put on a comedy show just for us to get on stage and try it. And out of the five of us, only two of us are standing.
Really?
So yeah.
Now, your stand-up
hmm
comedy, you are focused here in the Twin Cities, but you're going all over the place, aren't you?
Yeah. As of the past maybe year and a half, 2 years, I've been blessed to get gigs, kind of in the tri-state area. Some further east, some further west, but mostly tri-state area.
Now, what kind of comedy do you put out?
I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. The base of it is my family, my wife, and my kids. Just being a father, being a terrible father, but a fun father. And then very seldom do I get political or get racial. If I drink, if I'm drinking though, I might push some buttons.
Yeah.
But mostly I try to keep it for everybody with family and things like that.
All right.
Yeah.
So, tell me about your family. You've got four kids, and you've been married, what, 8, 9 years
I've
now?
been
Or
married 8 years as of the 30th of October. What we're in September now, so
September.
August 30th of my on my 8 year wedding
I'm
anniversary.
glad you didn't miss that date.
She's not letting me miss it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been married 8 years. Been with my wife since high school. We have four kids, 15, 13. You just start forgetting. Nine, and 6. So two boys, two girls.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I have two boys and two girls, too.
See, there
Isn't
we
that
go.
crazy?
There we go.
And another thing that we have in common is that I just got my real estate license, and I think you did as
Congratulations.
well.
Yes.
Congratulations
Yep.
to you. How is that going for you?
I've been licensed for 2 months, and I close on my first two deals next week.
Nice.
Yep. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm nervous but excited. Yeah,
that'll be fun to go through that, you
definitely.
know. So let's go back to the comedy, because
Mm-hmm.
that's part of why I wanted to get you here. Now, do you have like a comedy house, a website, or anything that people can get a hold of you and see your shows?
Right. So I have for starting off, I opened what was the first black-owned comedy club in the Twin Cities. That's called Baddies Comedy Club. It closed because of the Saint. I'm not gonna say that. It closed because of the city of St. Paul. And the building owner, they couldn't figure their stuff out. But now we're renting out a space in downtown Minneapolis on the second floor of a strip club, which is pretty dope.
All right.
And that's called Baddies Comedy Club, and that's www.baddies, BADDIES, comedy.com. And you can kind of find the calendar for shows that we do on there. Then personally, my website is coolpcomedy.com, and I have the list of my shows and just what I got going on there.
So give me a couple shows that you got coming up.
Coming up. My next traveling show is to North Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota, mid-October. Then I go to Sauk Rapids, Hayward, Wisconsin, maybe to like a casino. I've been getting a lot of work with a booking agency now, which is pretty good. But locally, not too much as of right now.
Okay.
The local scene's kind of weird.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's weird about it?
It has its peaks. Like 1 minute it'll be super like exciting, a lot of stuff going on, and then it's kind of dry out.
All right.
Yeah.
So tell me about your comedy club. I mean, what kind of acts do you have in there? What kind of acts have you had in the past? I mean,
Yeah.
is it
So the comedy club is based around urban comedy or black comedy, because we didn't have a home for comedy in the Twin Cities. But we also had this thing where we wanted to be communal and kind of bridge the gap between urban and mainstream comedy, where we feature comics who we wouldn't normally cross paths. So
right?
we invite them over and we just create a rapport and create bonds and friendships. So that was the beautiful part about that. What's the other question?
Just tell me about your
Yeah, I
comedy.
get lost.
No, you're good. So let
Yeah.
me ask you another
Yeah.
question, and the question is more about like what kind of comedians inspired you? I mean, you were a funny guy to start out
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
but then who do you follow? I mean, who are the ones out there that you like?
Yep. So the ones that got me going or that I kind of follow as a comedian, he's passed away, but his name is Bernie Mac.
Oh yeah,
And
Bernie
then
Mac.
Patrice O'Neal, who's also passed. He was one of those guys who just big old black guy, but everybody loved him, but he was an asshole. But he spoke his mind, like from political to whatever it was. He said what was on his mind.
Right.
He didn't hold back, but they loved him for it. Like
Yeah.
it was amazing how he could just be such a big asshole to be loved.
You know, that
Right.
reminds me of George Carlin. You remember George
Yeah,
Carlin?
yeah, yeah.
He did the same
Yeah,
shit. You know,
yeah.
he was a prick to everybody. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, if he didn't like you or didn't believe in what you were doing, you knew it.
You know it, but then
Yeah.
the world loved him still, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then as alive, Kevin Hart is one of my inspirations. He has a great work ethic. He's a good worker, hard worker. Then this guy, his name is Lil Rel.
Lil Rel?
If you've seen the movie Get Out, he's a TSA agent on there who kind of saves the day at the end of the movie, and he got he's blowing up Hollywood right now. And I like him because he came from urban comedy, Chicago, and he didn't change. You know, he stayed himself. He didn't try to clean it up or to fit the masses. He said, "This is me. I'm gonna be me. You're gonna take it and you're gonna love it. If not, F you." And
Right.
he took it and they loved it, and he's successful now.
I think that's reminds me of Bob Marley's quote.
Uh-huh.
Or something where he said that the world loves people when they're not real, but you got to stay real.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they love you or they don't.
yep,
And
exactly.
you'd rather stay real than be fake
exactly.
and have everybody love you. So now, Kevin Hart, you've met him?
I've met him.
He came to one of your shows, or you held a show that he was the feature artist or the comedian, or what was that?
He has a TV show on Comedy Central called Heart of the City, where he goes to cities and just features the up-and-coming comics in that city. And so season 2, he came to Minneapolis, and he chose our comedy club to be the hosting venue for that. So his whole filming crew, his whole staff, some of the comedians on his team came out, and they recorded a TV show that featured 4 local comedians here.
All right.
So it was cool meeting him. Very inspirational. He's super short.
I was going to say, did he come up to your waist?
He's super short. But good guy, man. He just, for him to come and we're like a small space. For him to come and just pick us over the major name comedy clubs in the city was amazing.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Was that the one in St. Paul or Minneapolis?
St. Paul. Yeah.
Now, what have you thought about with being you owned a black-owned comedy club?
Mhm.
I mean, has that been any different than you think somebody that's white-owned or?
No,
is it
it's
the
no
same?
difference. It's
Okay.
no
The
difference.
different acts and different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Is that what that's
So
what I'm trying to
ultimately,
get
just
at?
different acts. Of course, different audience. But yeah, ultimately the structure's the same way. For with comedians and everything, business wise, everything's the same. It's just that when you have mainstream comedy clubs, they're going to focus on what makes them money,
Right.
and there aren't too many mainstream urban comedians that'll draw massive crowds or bring a lot of money. But there's comics that we want to see, as a black audience. So it's like we don't have nowhere to go and see that. So it's open market for Minneapolis. So that's how that happened.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was down in Biloxi, Mississippi,
Oh shoot.
and I love jazz music.
Uh-huh.
And I went with my girlfriend, and we
Okay.
drove through this dark alley, and we got to this jazz club.
Uh-huh.
They met us at the door, and they treated us like family. But I walked in, and I was the only white guy. And it's the same thing. I think
Uh-huh.
it was black owned.
Yeah.
One of the owners, there was a husband and wife that owned it. Her
Mhm.
son played basketball for the U of M up
Oh,
here.
cool.
And so she knew about all the jazz clubs up here, and
Mhm.
it was great. They just treated us really well.
Right.
But for me, being a Minnesota guy, I walk
Mhm.
in and I'm the only white guy. That's completely different. But it was so fucking cool. It was a great, great night with the great artists and
Yeah.
great jazz that you don't really find up here.
Right. And that's another thing. Having things like that, it introduces culture to you get to learn like you went and experiences something new, something different, and you're probably like, oh shoot, but then you had fun. So even with comedy, it just introduces a new culture.
Yeah.
And so in comedy, people will be like, in life we're all the same in general. But there's some things that we understand as blacks that or terms I should say that white people don't necessarily catch.
Right.
But when they come to the show and they sit and they understand it, like we're all the same.
Oh,
My point of view is the same as yours. I might voice it differently, and that makes it amazing. And it just being able to just mesh those cultures together and just realize that shit, we're all struggling. We're all trying to survive and live and enjoy life.
I agree with you 100%.
I just might say it differently than whoever else, but it's
no, that's the cool part. Part of
Mm-hmm.
the whole experience of life
Mhm.
is when you can do that. Whether it's traveling to a different part of the world or if
Mhm.
it's just in your own backyard.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because there are different cultures and different ways of looking at life. But you're right, we're all the same.
Yep.
And so we should start treating each other like the same.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's the way it should be.
Pretty much.
There's,
And again, that's why I say this in my act. That's why I love comedy. And as of recently, I started getting more racial, but not in a type of way, but in a come together type of way. And I say I love comedy because they don't know Pierre Douglas. They don't know it's a black name. It sounds black, but you don't know if I'm black, French, or whatever. So you come in to see a show with a guy named Pierre Douglas, and you get this big bearded black dude. You got to hear me. And you can be like, oh, shoot, I love this dude. He's amazing. And, we just create that love where comedy just had to sit there because you pay for it. You're not going to get up and leave. So you sit through this act and you just come to find out that, I love him. It's great. Like, I've met so many cool people through comedy and just I've learned so much and just it's amazing. I can't even really.
I can relate a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I experienced a different life than most white guys.
Mm-hmm.
I've traveled a lot. I've
Yeah.
lived in places, and I personally don't have any filter when it comes to people.
Right.
When it comes to people, I don't care who you are.
Uh-huh.
I prefer people that are cool and that have character
Right.
and want to live a
Right.
good life. And part of what I like about you is you're a doer.
Yeah.
You do stuff. You're going out, and
Yeah.
whether you get chopped at the knees or whether you are fully successful, you get back up and you go.
Gotta
And
do
I
it.
love that. That's what
Thank you.
you're inspirational in a lot of ways
Thank you.
because you're a good example for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome because it's huge to me to see somebody that is a doer.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sit back and complain or just they're actually going out, taking the risk,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's starting a business, being a comedy show actor, being a real estate agent,
Yeah.
being a dad of 4 kids in today's world. I know what that's like. And you just got to go,
Yeah.
just got to go.
That's part of the reason why I do go is those 4 kids. It's a lot.
They can take a lot out of you.
Yeah.
My kids, I remember you talking about how expensive sports was.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a crazy game they got us in now? It's
and
crazy.
Then if you pay all that money and then the coach doesn't want to pay your kid, you're not gonna play my son. I just spent $500. Now you're gonna put my son in this game.
Yeah, I hear you. It's
a lot of money.
My kids played hockey.
That's like
and that was
4 times more than basketball. So.
Oh, it's insane. They take these trips up north, and
Yeah.
they want you to be in a hotel room, and you got
All
to pay
that
for all the
crazy
food,
stuff.
and you got to do all that stuff. And it's all for what?
For your kid.
Well, yeah, but it's also for the people in the sports to make more money.
Well, yeah, that too. But
You know.
ultimately, you want to make your kid happy. You're like, all right, I'll spend this $1,000 that I could have used for whatever. But yeah.
Now you also work on the ramp at Delta, and that's where I met you.
Yeah, yeah.
We were in the F9 break room.
Rampies.
And how does that fit into your lifestyle? Because it seems like you have so many things going on.
Delta, it fits because Delta's a flexible job. So being able to, swap shifts and kind of make your schedule work around your job, it helps a lot.
Yeah. And I take full advantage of that as well.
Yep.
I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, I take complete advantage of it.
Yeah. So let's go back to the comedy because
Okay.
that's really why I wanted you here.
Yeah.
You got a comedy show
Mm-hmm.
and you get up in front of people. When you first started, were you nervous? Were you just were jokes going flat because you thought they were funny and they just didn't work? Were they super successful and you found your rhythm?
Mm-hmm.
How did you start out in this?
Starting out my very first show, I forgot every last joke I wanted to tell. I forgot every joke I had planned, and so I'm good at what we call roasting or jonesing or talking about somebody. I just got on stage. I started roasting everybody. Like, oh my God, look at your head or whatever. Oh, you ugly people, whatever it was. And I that's my natural funny. Is being natural. I was able to be naturally funny for that 5 or 10 minutes. And for the first 4 years, I thought I was good. I had an ego like I was good, but I was terrible. I was terrible. Looking back on old video and just like, dog, you sucked. And so now moving into year 5 is when I really, really like, I'm good. I can do this. And that's kind of 5. So I'm in year 6 now. So year 5 and 6 is where I kind of found my craft, my rhythm, my lane, my confidence. And it took a lot of jokes falling flat, a lot of I'm gonna get drunk before I go on stage to curve my nerves and things like that, and just just trying to use other things to kind of hide my insecurities or my fears of being up. Even though I want to be up there, I'm fucking scared.
Right.
So I got confident in year 5 where I stopped drinking before I went on stage. I just started using my natural funny. Like I don't want to say whatever to make you laugh. I'm gonna say what I feel, and you're gonna feel me, and we're gonna laugh together.
All right.
And when I got into that mode, it started working. It started working.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, I don't know who it was. It was one of I listened to a local comedy guy on the radio. His name escapes me, but he said, "Don't even start talking to me about comedy until you've hit 10 years."
Yeah.
And that's when everybody starts to accept you in the comedy world.
Yeah.
The niche.
Yep.
It says you have to pay your dues. You have to, get to that point, and people start respecting you because you've lasted that long.
Mm-hmm.
Most people quit or give up.
Yeah.
Unless you're automatically going to stardom.
Right.
That's very few people do, right?
Yeah. And the 10-year thing, and even like with social media now, people would kind of forget about the 10-year, just putting that time in and paying your dues. And there's comics who blow up in 3 years or blow up in 5 years, a year. And you forget that, back then or even now, it takes time to really hone your craft and to really be good. My mentor, he would tell me, even like my older comics in the city, like, you don't really have a good hour of comedy until like 10 years. Like you ain't really experienced nothing until you get that 10-year mark. And like I can do an hour of comedy, and I'll wing it for like 15 minutes of it, 30 minutes of it. And the other 30 minutes will be really good, but that last 15 is like, oh snap. So just having that 10 years of just learning your voice, learning your craft, learning how to read the audience, learning timing, learning when to just shut up, or get off stage, whatever, all that good stuff we learn within that 10 years.
Some of the comedians that I like, they do something that the other ones don't. It's facial expressions.
Yeah.
Those are so key to comedy because, when they lift their eyebrows or they do a facial expression, it's amazing how they tie that in.
Yeah, all those little things matter, yeah.
It's key. Now, one of my favorite comedians is Chappelle.
He's a dope.
I love that. I love the way he approaches it. I love how he is. He flips everything upside down.
Yeah. I feel like he's a Richard Pryor of like my generation.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Of my generation, he's a Richard Pryor. I feel like. Yeah.
Well, he's probably like
except for the drugs.
Well.
And the burning himself on fire, and all this. Richard Pryor did a lot of crazy stuff.
Well, so Richard was
minus all that.
Yeah, but that was a different generation.
Yeah,
that wasn't so wild for to be freebasing back then. I mean, but I think Chappelle, no matter his personal life, I don't really know much about it, but his comedy is the best.
Yes.
By far.
Yep.
I mean, nobody touches him in my eyes.
Yep.
I mean, even white, black, it doesn't matter. Nobody comes close.
Yeah.
He is that good. Now, is he somebody that you'd want to emulate? Because he takes a little bit more.
Yeah.
He pushes the envelope.
I'm not an envelope pusher. What I love about him is that, and when you watch his last 4 comedy or not comedy or Netflix specials, he just knows how to talk. He can sit there and just talk and say intelligent things. He's brilliant. I guess that's probably something you get as you grow. He's at 30, almost 30 years in the game. So I don't know if I want to say I want to be like Chappelle, because this is a whole nother level of comedy. Yeah. It's not necessarily my style of comedy, how I perform. I'm energetic. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm loud. But as a career, yes. But as a style of comedy, probably not.
Well, there's only one Chappelle.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what?
yeah,
You got
yeah.
to be yourself,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, it's important to be yourself. You know, thing about Chappelle is I actually watched a TV special on him where he
Hmm.
just sat down and he lives out in the country
Yeah.
now. He is, he has the foresight and the ability to see his life now because
Hmm.
he's got through the rough period,
Yeah.
and he can see that now. I think he's even better comedian.
Hmm.
I mean, it's maybe not as risky or stuff like that, but it is. It's just a different risk,
Yeah.
and I really like him. I mean,
It's
I would
amazing.
love just to hang out with him for a day
Yeah.
because it would be fun
Yeah.
as hell. Because
Yeah.
he just has that. He can just look at something and I laugh.
Yeah. When we did the Heart of the City, he was in town. When we filmed that Kevin Hart thing, he was in town, and we were like praying that he would come by. We were like, "Oh my God, Dave Chappelle's in town. Hopefully he comes." He didn't come, but we were praying like, hopefully Kevin Hart just, "Hey Dave, I'm in town. Come through," or something.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. But we were like, "Oh man, that'd have been amazing." But just I see comics that I know, in LA and in New York or wherever, just being able to be around him consistently, man, to get all that knowledge, all that game.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. So I recently saw that you were looking for an apartment or a studio in LA.
I was just talking stuff.
Just
I
talking
was just
shit?
talking shit. Yeah. I would love to rent out like a room in LA. So that because my logic behind it is that if my money's on the line, like I spent this money, I have to go.
Right.
I have to go do this. I have to go and get there and be in that atmosphere. But I'll just talk shit.
Have you thought ever going down there and doing like an open mic night?
I do that a lot. I'm
But
going.
like in LA
Yeah,
and
I'm
stuff?
going back in a little bit, but I go out there a lot.
Okay.
LA, Atlanta. I haven't been to New York yet, but LA and Atlanta. Even if I go on vacation, I try to just go and just check something out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to make this a career.
Yes.
There's no doubt about
That's
it in
the
your
plan.
mind. You're
Yeah.
going to be a career real estate agent and comedian. Do
Yeah.
you ever put them together?
I'm working on it now. I talk about being a realtor in my act, and what I learned now as a realtor is that I was looking at my headshots and my promotional material, and I was like, I look like every other realtor out there. I look like every realtor that's out there right now. So I told my wife, I'm gonna just remarket myself and just I'm gonna call it professionally fun. So where I'm me, I'm a comedian, but I'm a realtor also, and we're gonna have fun in this process. I don't want to look stuffy. I don't want to look like every other realtor. My brand is gonna be fun, and that's what it's gonna be. I want to tie all that in together.
Right.
So I was looking like, dude, you look stuffy as heck in that picture, bro. And I spent a lot of money on it. I was like, yeah.
So how much did you spend on that picture?
$280.
$280. Because I have to go through that process now, and $280.
A guy who works on the ramp, he did them. He's my friend, and he charges that much money.
Yeah, you might want to have me connect with him or give me his
yeah.
number because I'm going through that right now.
Yeah,
So
he does a lot of headshot photos for companies and things like that. So
all right,
yeah, he's dope.
that's great. Okay, so when you go through a comedy act,
Mhm.
and do you go after people that might heckle you? If somebody heckles me, I'd be like, okay,
I'm
fucker,
going for your
I'm
neck.
going after.
I don't get heckled a lot, but if I do, I'm going for your neck.
So when's your next show? I'd love to come and heckle you, see you come after me, because that would be hilarious. Because frankly, sometimes I think hecklers are like friends of the comedian. It just gets them
Just trying to
rolling.
get them rolling.
And once they're on the roll, they're like, they forgot about their nervousness.
Mhm.
They forgot about their,
Right.
anxiety.
Mhm.
And once they're on the roll, then wow, I mean, it's,
Right. I don't get rude hecklers. If I get someone they'll yell out. But it won't be like, fuck you, you suck. Nothing like that.
Yeah,
It'll be just like a yell out where they're enjoying themselves. It'll throw me off, but then it focuses my attention on them, and I'll have fun with them in a good way.
right.
But I'll make you feel stupid in a really good way. I'm good at that.
Good. Talking trash.
Talking trash.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, he called me. You feel good about me calling you an asshole when I'm done, or whatever it is. But
Yeah. No, that sounds fun. Now, what's the difference, do you think, between, let's say, a comedy club, let's say at the Mall of America, where you
Mhm.
get, mostly white people, and then you
Mhm.
go to your club where it's, mostly black people, I'm
Mhm.
imagining.
Yeah.
Is it, because, that jazz club, those people were into it, man.
Right, right.
White people will sit there like this and, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this is good. They were like into it, and they were yelling and screaming. I mean, is it like that at your club as well?
Yeah. So let's say every club kind of has their niche audience. So let's say Mall of America when I'm there, it's kind of touristy.
Right.
So you never know what kind of audience you're gonna get. So like you would do a 7 o'clock Friday show and have an amazing set. 9:45 show, I quit. I sucked. I quit. It's just like that. But I love it there because you have to work through that and you hone your chops that way. And then let's say you go to the Comedy Corner Underground, that comedy club is college students, so they're relatable to everything right now. So you can use all the new terms, all the latest, all this stuff. They're like, oh my God, it's lit. Whatever you say, they love it. They're laughing. They're interacting. You can be youthful there. And when I go to my spot, I can be me, 100% me. And, the N-word flies, I'm using hood terms. I'm using, talking about black references that, other people might not get, like a movie like, what was it, Color Purple. You make a Color Purple reference. Yeah. Nobody, that's a black movie, whatever it is.
Well, I know.
Well, you was, you know what I mean.
That's my generation.
Yeah.
Oprah. And
yeah. But like a lot more black people than white people would get that. You'll get a lot of those references. So when you get to the black club, you can kind of let that stuff ride.
All right.
Yeah. But for me, all three places the same jokes, is different delivery. I'll tell you, my material's the same. Just how I give it to you is different.
All right. So you have a little boy that you give a lot of crap to on Facebook. Is he an ornery little guy, or is he just getting in Dad's way?
Which one? We talking about the youngest one?
Well, talking about the one that wants to beat you up and stuff. You were talking about.
Jaden is my 6-year-old, and he's the feisty one. He likes to fight but he likes to fight, and I want to be by you all the time, Dad. Which is loving, but it's like, oh, move away. And then my oldest son, Pierre Jr., he's 13. His voice is getting deeper, and he's feeling himself now. Like, Dad, I might be able to steal off you. Like, don't try it, man. Yeah. I kill you.
You got to tell him about old man strength.
What I mean? And so
farmer strength. These farmers are just they're just beasts.
Yeah.
The old man strength. Once you flip a switch with an old man, they don't stop.
So I just go and just like punch him in the chest, just so he knows, like, don't ever try it.
Yeah. So are you going into acting at all? Are you thinking about that venue, or because I think you'd be good at it?
I've done a little acting, a couple, maybe 5 or 6 local stage plays. Then did like a local produced movie called 3 Million Villains, I think it was called. It was like a whole bunch of comedians in it. It's like a mob alien type movie. It was fun. And we've done that. But I do want to try acting like on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I think you'd be really good at it. I mean, I think that you have the personality and the skills that you can actually do it.
I played a preacher before in a role. I played a broken or starving artist, a security guard, a mob boss's assistant. I played some weird roles, but that'll be pretty good. It's tough.
Well, one of the things that I've really focused on is I look at people that have accomplished things that are not at their final destination.
Right.
And to me, that journey is way more important. It's the rivers you cross, that type of thing. And as you age, you cross a lot more rivers.
Yeah.
And those tales of those rivers are huge.
Build that character.
You can build, and people can learn, from you and say, okay, well, Pierre did it this way, or Mike did it this way. I don't really want to go that route, or I do want to go that route.
Right.
People can learn.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter your background. Now, another thing is you're from Chicago, like when you were a kid, right?
Yeah,
you moved up to Minneapolis, St. Paul?
Yeah, my mom, we moved here when I was 5. We moved back a couple of times, but my wife's like diehard Chicago. She's from the south side of Chicago, the crazy part. I was born west side of Chicago, which is the crazy but not so crazy.
Okay.
But my mom moved here when I was 5. So I rep Minnesota. I tell people I'm from Minneapolis.
All right, I like that. My mom is from Chicago area.
Okay.
And so and my grandfather spent almost his whole life there. So it's near and dear to my heart in many ways, even though I'm not a Chicago person.
Yeah, I'm not. My wife's like, why you never tell people you're from? I'm not from Chicago. I was born there, but I've lived in Minnesota my whole life. So
yeah. So where did you grow up in Minnesota?
North Minneapolis, Berkeley Park. North Minneapolis first. Then we moved to like Robbinsdale. Then I became an adult, and I moved to Brooklyn Center. Now I live in Maple Grove.
All right. So you're moving on up.
Moving on
out.
You dying on coming for you.
You dying on. No, just get that one of those big houses on Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah.
Invite me over to go out on your Chris Craft.
Yeah, whatever that is, we're doing it.
Chris Craft is like a $100,000
wooden
boat.
Chris Craft. That's white shit.
Yeah,
Chris
it is.
Craft.
Chris Craft.
You're gonna come barbecue, man.
Well, you know,
Chris explain the Chris Craft, please. All the way.
all
What
the
do you
way.
do on the Chris Craft?
You go
Now I'm
fast.
concerned.
It's a status thing.
Is it a boat?
It's a boat.
It's a boat.
It's a boat, and it's like made out of wood,
Okay.
and it's got like that veneer on the wood. And the cheapest one you can get is like $100,000.
So it has a motor, okay.
Yeah,
So
it's got an inboard motor, which is
it has a steering wheel, like
yeah, it has a steering wheel.
okay. Oh no, okay. So,
And it's got the inboard motor, so there's no motor with the prop.
okay.
It comes out underneath.
So I want a Chris Craft. All right, cool.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
you'll
gonna go
probably
with
get
Chris
one,
Craft.
I imagine.
We're gonna get us a Chris
Get that
Craft.
status symbol and go out there and buzz on the
Hell
boats. And, you know, think you're the coolest guy out on the lake. Because that's what it's only rich people that have that.
Okay.
Nobody like me has a Chris
You're gonna
Craft.
get your Chris Craft too.
I don't want
We're
one.
gonna get twin Chris. Yeah, you do.
No, I don't, because you know I always look at those people in Chris Crafts and go, "What an asshole." I don't care. They could be the nicest guy in the
Right.
world, but they're an asshole. You know, that's just how I look at them. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Fuck them.
But they're assholes.
They're assholes.
Everybody owns a Chris Craft. I want you to know you're an asshole.
There you go. Chris Craft.
I want a jet ski. If I get one of those, I feel like I made it. I don't have to live near the lake or anything. I just want a jet ski.
Put it in your front yard.
In my front
Try
yard.
to just get when it rains out. Just go flying around. That'd be
Go to the
hilarious.
local swimming pool.
Fuck, you could probably do that in the streets right now.
Yeah,
You
hell
know,
yeah.
Just take your skidoo and boom.
Yeah,
Hit
my
that
wife,
hard.
she wants a canoe. I'm not doing that.
A canoe?
That's a joint where a rowboat or whatever it is you
No,
got.
that's a
tied on the
canoe,
side.
man.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Why?
That's too much work.
Oh, no, it's fun as hell. I just was on a canoe last weekend.
What are we doing? We want a crisscross.
Chris Craft.
Chris Craft. I
I gotta tell you, we're out on the St. Croix up by Taylor's Falls. And it's all white people out there in their canoes and their kayaks. And all of a sudden, around the corner comes this black guy on a kayak. He's got the hat on, shirt's off, and he's just. And he looked cooler than hell because he had that attitude, right?
I like that.
You know, it was just like, boom. He didn't look at anybody. He was just like, I think he had some headphones on, just in his own little world, just going down the thing. And it was just like, he didn't need anybody else.
He's doing his thing.
Just doing his thing. And I love that. I love the individual, you know, and that's a lot of fun for me to see because most people try to be the same as others.
You gone canoeing?
Oh, I've probably had 1,200 hours in a canoe.
It's not a lot of arm work though, is it? It's a
all
lot of arm work. It's too much for me.
It's all arms.
We got stacked bags already. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's it for my.
Well, I don't see you stacking too many bags out there.
I'm never quitting Delta.
You never?
Never. Unless
you make it big. Come on. You're not going to be flying.
I go seasonal then. I'm not paying for flights. I got poor kids.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of money. I've done that for a while. Now, how long have you been at Delta?
3 years in October. 3 years coming up.
All right, so I've been there 5.
5, cool.
So just coming up 5. So
How
it's a great place. You know, I like the people.
Be honest.
I like the job.
Be honest.
And I do. I
No,
like all that. If I was honest,
Mhm.
I've never had a job where you could work and you would sit on your ass for 4 hours and get paid for 8.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, you sit on your ass, flight comes in, you go work it, you come back, sit on your ass. And so that gives me a lot of time to do my other stuff, which I really like.
Then I go home, I'm like, oh my God, I had such a rough day. They gave me back-to-back flights. I did 1 flight, but my wife doesn't have to know that. I want her to know I worked hard.
Yeah, well, you do work hard in those short spurts.
Yeah,
you know? Well, you're a backroom guy now. You've kind of like gone into that route.
No, so here's what happens. In the wintertime, it's just like all the ramp people want to go to the bag room. Then I'm stuck on the ramp. And then when the summer comes, it's only bag room positions left. So I'm back in the bag room.
Really?
So I'm almost certain I'll be back on the ramp.
Well, I haven't. I've worked 1 or 2 days. One of the days was with you in the bag room. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know? I'm a ramp guy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even do transfers.
I hate transfers.
I did transfers, I think, when I was on one bid for relief like 5 or 6 times. And, you know, when they put out the list of who did the best, mine was like 3rd from the bottom.
That's probably where.
You know, come on.
I've gotten written up in transfers for taking too long on a flight. My first time over that I did a trade, it took me about an hour to do 1 flight. I didn't map it out, and I had to keep doubling back. they're like, Pierre, where are you? I'm like, I'm out here still. Leave me alone. So, and they wrote me up.
Really?
Wrote me up.
Oh, that's not cool. I mean,
He wasn't understanding, and I don't care. He was a black dude. I'm gonna say it. So he's supposed to be understanding that I don't know. And this is my first time. You knew my first time over there. You're supposed to know. And he wasn't understanding. I couldn't throw the black. Like, what's up, homie? None of that stuff worked.
Couldn't do that? Couldn't do that?
None of that stuff worked. He's like, nah, you're going to get rolled up and go figure it out. So,
well, fuck that. Well, listen, I know you've got big plans for today, and you got to get out of here. But I really appreciate you coming in. And
did we do it? We good?
We are... we're like at 45 minutes.
Let's do 5. You got to get 50. Let's do it.
Let's do 50. Well, what questions you want me to ask? This is all cold, man.
Nah, I'm the interviewer. What questions do you... So let's talk about you, Mike.
You want to talk about
Let's
me?
talk about
what do you want to
you,
know
Mike.
about me?
What inspired you to want to jump into the podcast world?
You know, my son has been telling me for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's 26 now. You should do a podcast. You can get on and you can talk for hours to people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's fluid and it's good. And you can be funny. You can be serious. You can talk about everything.
Yeah.
People like you. And I was like, nah, I got too much other stuff going down. And then I started looking at Joe Rogan.
Okay. Oh,
You know,
great guy.
and he's very successful
Mm-hmm.
in this. And I'm not saying I'm going to be a Joe Rogan or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to watch him. And podcasts on the video to me are much better. Because then you can see the people and you can see their,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the way they act, the way they are. And I said, well, fuck, I could do that. You know?
Knowing you at work, I wouldn't have thought that you'd be doing this. Like, I guess the personality you are, you're a great guy at work. I'm not saying you're like an asshole.
Come on.
But you're kind of, like I guess because you said we're kind of like shunned off. We're to ourselves at work. We're on our cell phones. We're working. We're on our cell phones. We're on our laptop. But we talk at work, but I wouldn't have taken you to be a podcaster type of dude.
So what is a podcaster to you?
I don't know.
You know,
But you don't have the
I don't have
podcaster dude vibe.
you don't have the vibe?
You do now.
Come on, man.
If
Fuck.
I see you, I'm like, Mike, what the fuck podcast? Really?
Yeah.
Like even when you told me, I was like, oh, okay. What are we gonna talk about?
You know what though? It's a thing that doesn't really shock me. You know, like if I had to go be a cop, I think I'd be in shock.
Right.
Seeing stuff and doing stuff. This doesn't bother me. This is something I feel like it's just natural to get out here. And you're the fourth one.
Cool.
I've had come in here. And so as I do it more and more, I get better and better at it. And I feel I'm getting better at it. And that's exciting.
Definitely.
But the other part is that I think I could do this for years.
It's
You know, it's not hard in the sense of talking to people. What the hard part is finding people that are interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because there's few and far between that interest me. You know, maybe they interest other people, but you know, there's people out there that I want to talk to, and eventually I'm going to run out of people I know.
Right.
And then it's going to have to be finding people, booking people, and doing that thing. You know, I've got. I want to go over to other countries and start interviewing some of those people.
That'd be cool.
And I can do that.
You know what I want to do? I was watching YouTube, and over in like China and Hong Kong, and over there they have like a huge counterfeit market over there.
Counterfeit of a lot of things.
Of everything.
Cell phones, everything electronic is counterfeit.
And so I was watching this dude on YouTube, and he goes over there and he bargains counterfeit like tennis shoes, like everything. And I was like, look at the YouTube. I was like, there's no black dudes doing this because they probably don't have flight benefits. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to over there and I'm gonna start a YouTube vlog of just like a black dude haggling Chinese people for counterfeit stuff. And he gets it that like start off super high, like high, and he'll get them to down like $4 American for like, and they were at like 500 or whatever it is
to get some that low.
Yeah, I'm like, so I want to do that. That's something I want to do.
What kind of stuff would you want to buy? Cell phones? Or
mostly
what?
like tennis shoes, like Jordans. Kanye had like the biggest shoe out or over there is like Kanye West shoe, the Yeezys, and so they're counterfeited like crazy over there. And so just going over there and just finding the weakest quality and haggling that and try to get for like $1 US and finding the best that like they have a whole store of counterfeit Yeezys that's like it looks like a real store, trying to haggle that for like the lowest possible price, just having fun with it.
And just making a show out of it.
Get a Gucci belt, Louis Vuitton purse.
Look at you. You come back. You're looking like $1 million.
You want anything? I'll bring you something back. We get some new.
You know what I want from China? I want a counterfeit laptop.
A Mac or what kind?
A Mac.
A Mac.
So if you can get me one of those, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
I've got these HPs,
Uh-huh.
and I want to get a Mac, but they're too expensive.
I wonder how a counterfeit. Yeah, because they bought like a Beats by Dre pill, and it was terrible. They bought a drone, and it was terrible.
So you're saying that would be terrible, Mac?
Maybe I have to figure it out.
Well, you're going to have to haggle that.
Haggle it. If it's whack, it's whack.
What other ideas are in your head about trying to do something? Because you're a social media.
Yeah.
You pound it. You pound it hard.
Because I have nothing else to do with my life. I'm at home like nobody's buying a house. Nobody's buying a house. Again, acting is my next thing I want to do. I kind of want to get my kids incorporated into like the social media entertainment thing. It's kind of like bringing them into my life. I talk about them so much in my comedy that I want to kind of figure out how to keep them out of trouble. They're like right by me, but having fun. So
you're going to be like Will Smith then.
Yeah, like
that's what he did.
Yeah, get rich off
to
my
the
kids.
Sets and they came. They got to know that business, and now they're acting.
Yeah, because my oldest son Pierre, he did modeling, and he was going to do acting, but he punked out. He picked up basketball, but he's done photo shoots for Target and all these things. So he's kind of into it, but. He picked up sports. I want to kind of get him back going. And I have no ugly kids. I'm surprised because I'm a terrible looking guy. So all my kids are beautiful. So I'm like, let's figure out how to use all these gifts they have from beauty to like my daughter. She's trying photography. My oldest daughter, my middle daughter is a gymnast. So I'm like, let's figure out how to just like socially use all these skills to monetize it while they're young.
Yeah.
Because people are doing like there's my son Jaden watches a kid on YouTube named Chase, little white kid, his family. And they're making millions of dollars just playing video games. And my son watches another kid play with his toys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, let's do this. Let's be like Chase.
This is unbelievable. The world we're in with, you talk about monetizing things. There's so much out there to monetize. And people just let it go right by them.
Yep.
One of the things that I, want to do eventually is get a sponsor for my vodka bottle.
Yeah.
I want to have a Hammer and Sickle.
Okay.
Sponsor and I want to get enough views where that becomes the more views, the more they sponsor.
Yeah. Do you hashtag them and tag them and stuff?
I'm going to.
Yeah, when you start posting, make sure.
Yeah, because I only got one out right now, so it's an early thing. If you can help spread the word about this show, I know that I'm going to put you out there. Now, let me ask you about your T-shirt. I know that you're out there and you've got them out for sale.
Mm-hmm.
What's the inspiration for it, and what are you trying to get across the message?
The inspiration for the T-shirt. This past year has been a really good year for me. And I have a joke. I do church comedy also, and I have a joke where it says the pastor, there's a Baptist preacher and a Pentecostal preacher, and they preach differently. And the Pentecostal preacher tries to make a point out of everything. He tries to be philosophical, and he uses the Wendy's 4 for $4 as his analogy. And the ending thing is increase. Like he got an extra chicken nugget increase. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. And so I was like, that's a good joke, but I just told it, whatever. And then I've been having such a good year, and I just started Googling Bible verses that were based around increase. It's kind of just put it on my wall to kind of just look at it and just kind of grow from it. And so this one I found, Job 8:7. It says, though thy beginning was small, thy later will greatly increase. So, we're at a small point. We're starting out. We're just figuring it out. But as we grow, as we put those hours in, we're going to be at a better place pretty soon.
Now, if you want, I can put that on my website and help you sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Just put the orders in, and you just got to work out a pricing system with me.
Yeah.
And we'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, because I like that shirt.
Yeah.
And I think people out there would love it.
Yeah. For me, and I'm not just selling a shirt. I want people to believe what the shirt is saying and what I'm saying. Like, we're growing. Like, we're putting the work in. We're growing, and I believe that you're a part of me now. The people around me who are attached to me, as we keep working hard and putting that time in, we're gonna see the results. Whether it's monetarily or whatever you want it to be, we're gonna see it. And I believe that, like, put the bottom of my heart. Like, especially how, like, I took my real estate test 7 times. It took me 7 tries. I took my first course in 2010. So I kept the course. I gave up, but I came back. I gave up, I came back. And so just to do those things and keep pushing forward, I believe wholeheartedly that we're going to see greater days and stuff.
Amen, brother. Good job. Good job. With that, I thank you for coming in, and
Thanks for having me.
this has been a blast.
Appreciate it, Mike, and much success to you in the podcast. We're gonna put you on Apple, and you're gonna be like the top stream podcast in the world.
Damn right,
We're gonna
man.
speak it, and it's gonna happen.
All right, I
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
All right.
Be good.
Thank you.
All right.